What is up, everyone? We are back with some more modern action back in the 2015 era when we are looking at the wonderful event that took place. We've talked about it for the last 5 weeks now, and we have made it to the quarterfinals here. So this is going to be very exciting to see. So some of the decks that, of course, made it into the top 8 were able to go X and 1 in order to do it. There was 31 players that played in the event, and these are the 8 players that survived. So we had 1 Splinter Twin player. We had 2 Tron players, 1 Jund player, 1 Grixis Delver player, 1 Martyr Proc player, 1 Scape Shift, 1 Simic Infect to round it all out. A couple of 1-0s, so, you know, cool to see 2 Tron players. I believe we've seen both of these players featured on the channel already. I could be wrong about which the Tron player it was. We've seen a couple of different Tron lists. We have seen only 1 Jund, but we did see the Jund player battle it out against Grixis Delver here. And we saw a mulligan from our Tron player, starting things off with an Inquisition to strip away, which is always a great feeling if you are on the disruption plan of being able to target down and mess with your opponent's stuff the best that you can. So, and you know, I was debating here, like, the map makes a lot of sense, but you could make the argument for the star, knowing that your opponent would be cut off of basically anything except for a map play. But if they were to top deck another Tron piece and then play the map, it guarantees them a turn 3 Tron. So you don't want that. So stripping the map makes a lot of sense here. So we do see kind of the setup here. Now let's talk a little bit about the decks, because they are, you know, Jund doesn't exist in present day Modern. Sorry to say, the iteration that you see here, it doesn't. It's gone. It's no longer in existence. So if you want to play this cool deck, go back to the 2015 era and play in these awesome events that took place, like this one here. Oh, and there's also weeklies that take place. If you guys haven't checked out the Discord for it, you know, you should definitely join up, because the weeklies are going to be coming back soon. You can play some webcam magic with people, play on the MTGO, you know, all kinds of fun stuff. But we've got a Scavenging Ooze, so let's talk about Jund in particular here. It's going to be utilizing things like Inquisition, Thoughtseize, stuff like that. So there, I like this. Sylvan Scrying gone, 2 threats in hand still, but not really any mana to cast it at the moment. The Inquisition, Thoughtseize to disrupt and strip your opponents of their resources. You've got a lot of removal, Terminates, Abrupt Decays, Kolgun's Command. A lot of ways to kind of fight over what your opponent is doing. Then you've got the back of things like Scavenging Ooze, Tarmogoyf, Dark Confidant, right? That's your creature base that you've got. Some of the lists are up with Olivia. You know, you could do some vampire shenanigans like a 1-of. Some have the Huntmaster of the Fells in there. So, like, you've got a couple choices that you can kind of utilize within the list. Liliana the Veil is a great one. So you got you know, basically the best kind of cards within those colors. Manlands are a good way to close out the game once you've kind of dragged things on. On the other side of the board is the Tron list, right? Big mana control style deck. You control the battlefield. You control what's there. The longer the game goes on, though, the more powerful the Tron list gets. So if it's survived all the disruption, we've gotten up our Tron assembled, we can kind of get in and make something happen here. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see. I would say back in the day, Tron was a little bit more favored over Jund when it came to lists, right? Part of that is because of the grindiness of the decks, of like, okay, I'm going to try to grind you down, and it doesn't necessarily have the most, you know, fast speed at being able to kill, but we are seeing a very fast disruption plan here, because there we go, see a Oblivion Stone attempt to get dropped down to try to kind of clear and mitigate some of this damage that's coming across, which was met immediately with a Kolgun's Command to destroy it and force your opponent to discard one of those 2 threats in hand, which is Karn Liberated and that Wormcoil Engine that we saw. The Wormcoil played a big, you know, deal role when it came to seeing the Tron versus the, you know, Storm list that we saw previously. So, of course, if you want to see any of the previous 2015 decks that we've featured on the channel, we have a whole playlist dedicated to 2015 Modern, but you can always just look back through it. Of course, if you want to see other gameplay that we've got our present day current Modern, and there was just a big ban list that did take place recently, banning some cards, unbanning some cards. So very cool to see. Flage we got to say goodbye. So that really opened things up for a lot of players, to kind of try to experiment with things, which is really cool to be able to see. And then we did get to see, of course, another big unbanning in happening as well. So love seeing those moments in time of be able to utilize the Jitte again, being able to utilize the violent outbursts and stuff. Oh, also, Amulet Titan had a little bit of a banning take place with its little lotus bloom, the lotus field, the land that people were just looping. So yeah, big ban changes there. But let's get back into this one, because we're talking 2015, where we don't have to worry about any of those cards, because Jund has deployed their Goyf. We see artifacts, land, sorcery, artifact, land, sorcery, instant, maybe 4. There's a Tarmor dice, but I was not in the room when this was happening, so the players are not using their Tarmor dice. But that's okay. They're not used to it. I need to be more prepared for them next time that we get Jund players on camera, to just basically say, hey, here's a dice. There is a Tarmor dice. Please use this. But that's okay. There's the scoop up. Currently 1-0 in favor of our Jund player. And we saw the deck list going off at the very beginning of the video. That is something the players got to use, because it is an open deck list event. So we do get to see kind of going through what can we use. I don't mind the relics. I don't know if we need all of it. Definitely the Sundering Titan seems really good. You could go for the Life of the Loam in here, but you see, look, them pulling each other's deck lists there. We're interrupting our gameplay to let you know about our new affiliate with NerdGear. nerdgear.gg/nanman will take you directly to the website, and as you can see, they've got a bunch of awesome gaming accessories, from playmats, life counters with the life tracks, playmat holders, and more. So make sure you do some browsing on the site, find some goodies, and then use the code NGNanman for 5% off your entire order. But let's get back to our gameplay. All right, let's get back to the gameplay here. The quarterfinals taking place. What do we got? Yeah, we talked a little bit about sideboard stuff. The players know what each other's deck lists look like, so they know what to anticipate. Like, okay, what do you got? Fulminator Mage is an option. Of course, if you want to see any of these deck lists in particular, we do have them up on our Mox Field. They're also up on the website itself, which is the Sears charity magic. You guys can check that out, because this whole event was run for Sears to help raise money for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, and not the department store some people were saying at first. Sears is the name of the person that was running all the event, at least his last name for it. So, but yeah, the event was amazing. Raised some great money for good cause, and got to play some great Magic. So we're going to be going through. We still have, this is the quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, all the good stuff coming up in the near future from the Mondays, and then other good content for you to be able to enjoy. We've got SCG Con, the end of the week. We're going to be going and hanging out on Saturday. You guys can, if you're in the area, come by, say hi. We'll be there browsing, shopping, doing some fun stuff there. So playing some games, just overall having fun. But let's get in, see what the mulligan. Tron player had to do some heavy mulliganing. Now, it is 2015 modern, but the mulligan rule has been updated. But you really need a good amount of tools to help you. Like, you don't want basically no threats. You don't want no ways to find your lands. Like, there's a balance that you have to kind of utilize here in this matchup. But the Jund lists are pretty straightforward with what they're trying to do, right? How much threats can they deploy on the back of the disruption, right? That's the name of the game here. Like, the players just kind of joking around with each other. Yeah, just mull to 0. Then I can't strip away your cards with Inquisition or Thoughtseize. You'll be fine. Nothing to worry about there. All right, what do we see? Anything good? Anything worthwhile? Yeah, so what decks would you play while we're waiting for these players to get their match started here? What decks would you like to play if you played Modern 2015 right now? Would you go back and play something old school like this? Would you play kind of, particular deck that you played at the time. You know, where would you go? How would you play it? We already know what I played. You know, you could see it. We had all the videos about it. All right. Let's see. Ancient Stirrings finds a Tron Police, which is nice. Can't strip that away from our opponent utilizing any of the disruptions, but we are in a tough predicament because there are 3 cards in hand. Hey, there's the Overgrown. There's the Inquisition. Let's strip away. And, okay, I like that, you know, like keepable here. There's a mine. One of those is a tower. One of those is a mystery card. But this is kind of what you want to see when you're the Jund player. Is just sort of like, can I be able to just strip away things? And, oh, our man land. We talked about how impactful man lands are. That's the Raging Ravine there. You activate it and start beating your opponent down. In 2015, it's like the man lands were so important and so impactful because this was a time before Fatal Push. Oh, stripping away, getting rid of the Karn. I did hear something about players being able to, like, do some really good stuff with Karn on the day of the event. So, you know. Oh, Dark Confidant. Bob is here. All right. Forest Pass. Let's see how much damage we taken. Freebie off the top. So, free land. Yeah, you hear the other player. Boo. 2 damage. Chip away. I like it. Oh, that's a big hit. Fulminator Mage. Strip away your tower. All right, 3 mana. We've got Oblivion Stone coming out. Another freebie? Are you crazy? What? Oh, my gosh. That's the kind of stuff that you, like, chase as the Jund player, right? You're just chasing that hive going, I have gotten through 2 free hits off my Dark Confidant. Easy mode. This is great. Everything's working out. I mean, you would love to see, like, cards that you can use, but you're getting essentially 2 draws, right? You're getting the land off of there, and then whatever you get after it. Activation, big beats coming across here with the Raging Ravine. So it's a 3/3, becomes a 4/4. You hear our Tron player ripping open a pack there for a second there. Our top 4 players all got packs for winning, as well as a couple promo cards. And look at this. Okay, pretty nice Pyroclasm. I missed what the other one was, but it looked like there was also the and the demon. The Impending Doom one? What the heck's that name? I used to run it in my Esper Blink deck. I don't even remember now. That's okay. But yeah, you see him ripping open his second pack here. And there's another big beat. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, you could blow it all up here. Oblivion Stone? Nope, we're taking it. Why? What? Oh, we're hellbent here. I don't know. I guess because it doesn't really. No, we still would be absorbing a hit and then still have. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the Tron player was just like, I'm happy to make top 8. I had to mold a 4. Everything's off. Everything's gone wrong. GG, go next. I don't know. There was a window of opportunity, but that's okay. Sometimes that happens, especially you have to think, is these players had been playing 5 rounds before this. He might have just been like, you know, my deck is mad at me in the top 8. I'm fine. Screw it. Got a couple packs. I'm going to go eat dinner. You have fun staying here longer because you've got at least 2 more rounds or at least 1 more guaranteed, right? Semifinals that this Jund player will be moving on to here. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works out. They'll be here's the spoilers. They're going to go play against the Scapeshift player. So that's going to be a tough one for them to battle it out. And then the other semifinals that we've got coming up next week for you to enjoy is Simic Infect versus Splinter Twin. But hope you guys enjoyed this one. Another nice little fast pace, but fun little trip down memory lane to talk through a little bit of these decks that don't really exist in the current meta. Or at least the Tron list is very different from what it was back then. But Jund, not so much there. So thanks so much for tuning in and watching, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Come back, of course, on Thursday for our present day modern and then the sprinkle of content on Saturdays. But that's going to do it for us. Thanks for tuning and watching, all. See you all next game.